You know, I had a YouTube comment one time telling me that my voice sounds like I'm underwater all the time. I don't remember what comment it was, but it was one. Anyways, let's just start the video. You know, it's been a very long time since I made a video, but here we are. Yeah, Sonic Unleashed on PC, so let's do this. Sonic Unleashed is by far one of, if not the greatest Sonic games ever made. At least for the 3D era of Sonic games. Personally, if you ask me, I much prefer 3D Sonic over 2D Sonic. I recently played through pretty much the entire 2D era of Sonic and more, thanks to the Sonic Origins Plus collection and their Game Gear editions, along with other dubious methods because Sega, for some reason, won't re-release certain games, such as Sonic's Pocket Adventure and the Sega Saturn version of Sonic 3D Blast, which are both pretty decent games, might I add. But the 2D era as a whole, outside of some nice titles, is a bit of a mess. The Game Gear era games suck, and the arcade games are pretty okay, if not confusing, and then you have, well, Sonic Schoolhouse.
I'm Sonic. Click on me for help.
That counts. Now don't get me wrong, the 3D era is also a complete mess. It's a mess that I kinda love though. Yeah, we can point and laugh at Shadow and 06 all we want, but that's not the point of this video. Needless to say, through my little Sonic marathon that I've played so far, every single game I have played has been on the PC. I did play Origins on the PS5, but that also has a PC version. I don't know why I just didn't get it there, but it is what it is. There's a couple games, however, that is not available on the PC, but can be played via emulation, such as Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06, and maybe a little bit more here and there. But the one that seems to struggle the most when it comes to emulation is Sonic Unleashed. While yes, you can emulate the Wii version of the game perfectly fine in Dolphin and play the barely above average Wii port of the game. But if you want to play the version of Sonic Unleashed that actually matters, the one that Unleashed is known for, the version of Sonic Unleashed that got 4 out of 10 by IGN because the dickhead reviewer playing the game didn't know how to play it at all and played bad on purpose? Yeah, that version. Well, sadly, it's not that easy. Sonic Unleashed was never released on the PC. It was during an era where Sonic was honestly at his worst, coming right off of Sonic 2006. As a result, Sega shelved the PC release of that game, Shadow never came to PC despite Heroes coming to PC, and Sonic Unleashed was included here, only receiving an Xbox 360 and a PlayStation 3 version. And while you can just go and get those consoles and play the game on those consoles, there's one issue with playing it on the actual consoles it released on. The frame rate. The game runs so fucking bad, to the point where it's unplayable about 80% of the time. I mean, just look at this fucking mess right here. But I digress. We want to play this game on PC, and hopefully get some playable performance while we're at it. While most people will go straight towards the Unleashed project, which is a PC mod for the PC version of Sonic Generations, which ports the main daytime stages over to that game. While this can work and it looks really nice, you don't get everything though, especially the story, alongside the night stages and any of the other content outside of those main stages. So emulation is really our only bet. Unless you own an Xbox Series X or S console. Sonic Unleashed was one of the games added to the backwards compatibility program in like 2018, I think. I forgot the date actually, but I did do a video playing it the day it came out on Xbox One S. And thankfully in 2021, with the 20th anniversary of Xbox, they announced FPS boost support for multiple 360 games, and Sonic Unleashed, thankfully, was included on that list. What does this mean? Well, if you have a Series S or Series X console, it basically means Sonic Unleashed on those two consoles runs at full locked 60 frames per second with no drops no matter what happens on the screen. If you have an Xbox, this is definitely where you should get the games. The DLC is even supported too, so if you have all the DLC levels, you can enjoy them. If you bought the disc version of the game and have a Series X, you can pop that disc straight in, it'll download the game, and you'll be able to play it. And if you got a digital version that you bought years ago with the DLC, simply just log into that Xbox Live account, and it'll pop up right in your games, and you can download, install, and go. That is the version I prefer playing. But what about if you want to play it on PC? Well, there's two choices for emulation. You have RPCS3 for the PS3 version, or Xenia for the Xbox 360 version. RPCS3 does work. You need a pretty good system though. Clearly, my system isn't exactly capable of running this game at all. I mean, I get 17 FPS in the hub world. It's the most stable of the bunch. It runs like shit, but it doesn't crash. And if you're wondering what my computer has, I have a Ryzen 5 2600 CPU, along with a GTX 1660 Ti. What does any of this mean if you don't know what I'm talking about? Well, basically, my PC is a straight-up potato that barely runs anything at all. I can't even lock to 60 FPS in Sonic Frontiers for fuck's sake, so there's a hint on how much this computer sucks. Xenia, however, can work. And honestly, it runs well. Enough. So we're gonna use the Xbox 360 version of the game. Now, sadly, as much as I would like to link to the ISO, I'm not gonna be able to do that. But, sorry guys, I'm just a bit sick, that's all. But whenever you got an ISO that you grabbed somewhere off the internet and not ripped from your game disc, like what I did, you'll want to grab Xenia Canary. Base Xenia, from what I heard, doesn't run Sonic Unleashed that well, but the Canary branch runs it fine enough. So you get the Canary branch, open Xenia so it generates a config file, and then open that config file with whatever text editor you want. Now this is my Xenia config. I'm not 100% sure if you have to do any of this for Sonic Unleashed. I think Sonic Unleashed runs right out of the box. But I also play Saints Row 2 in this emulator because the PC port sucks, and these changes need to be done for that game. I haven't noticed anything wrong with Sonic Unleashed. You can reverse these changes if you notice anything wrong. Query occlusion fake sample count you'll want to change to -1, and max queued frames you'll want to change to 3. And last but not least, you'll also need to do this if you plan on playing that pretty cool Sonic Freeriders No Connect patch that you're probably going to grab if you get this, is to change Protect to 0 to false. For Sonic Unleashed, another thing you are going to want to do is to change VSync to false. This will unlock the game from 30 FPS and allow it to run over. You can use NVIDIA Control Panel to force VSync to get a nice lock. Things in Sonic Unleashed will break at 30 FPS if you exceed it, and a lot of things will break if you exceed 60 FPS. So locking it to 60 FPS is a great middle ground from what I noticed. Going over 60 FPS causes Sonic to either launch too far or launch not far enough in certain cases. It really depends on the level. You'll probably want to lock it to 60. Last but not least, you'll want to change the GPU over to the Vulkan render. DirectX 12 is the default render for Xenia. Sadly, Sonic Unleashed doesn't really like this render, and it will freak out at times, and sometimes even just black screen entirely. Vulkan fixes these, but sadly it's a bit slower, and things like the rings and life icons don't render after you collect them. That's basically all you really need to play Sonic Unleashed on a PC. Just hook up a gamepad of your choice, and drag the ISO into the Xenia Canary's executable, and you're pretty much good to go at that point. So how is Sonic Unleashed on PC? Sonic Unleashed on PC via Xenia works. It doesn't work enough. It's a little bit janky, it's difficult to set up, it's not exactly stable, and my biggest problem is that the Xenia emulator right now suffers from nasty shader compilation stutter, which will result in the first run of every level being stuttery and just running like plain crap. If the shader stutters weren't there, I'd say I'd be pretty alright with this. But with these stutters, it's not perfect. I honestly don't even recommend playing through the story, at least not yet. Downloading a 100% save file and just enjoying the levels and all that stuff is probably the best we can do right now. I don't have enough time to actually play through the entire story, but I do know that playing through the game and having to suffer with shader compilation stutter every time a new effect is rendered isn't really the way you should experience Sonic Unleashed. Honestly, I'd rather experience it at 20 FPS on the PS3 versus this. At least the PS3 version didn't stutter all the time. I don't even have the DLC either. I never tested to see if that would work. I assume it does after you install it into Xenia. The resolution of the game is blurry, like very blurry. You're locked to the same resolution of the Xbox 360. Trying to up the resolution via Xenia's config file will glitch out the graphics. It looks like garbage. Yes, Xenia does have an FSR image scale setting that you can use to help out a bit. It only does so much with a game that renders at such a low resolution like Sonic Unleashed, and the game still looks muddy because of it. There's also mods that you can get for this game, like the no metal requirements, piss filter removal, stuff like that. I wasn't happy with how the game ran in Xenia in general, so I never bothered to try out any mods. This does need work. But we're getting so close to Sonic Unleashed on PC, and that's a pretty good thing. If you're here just to play the Sonic Unleashed levels back to back, and don't really care about playing through the story, you can easily Google for a 100% save file, import it straight into Xenia, and play away with every level unlocked. And every level that I've played so far has worked perfectly fine. All the footage that you see in this video, unless noted in the corner of the screen, has come from Xenia. It's so close, and I can't wait to see this game being perfectly functional. But for now, if you have a Series S or Series X, you'll probably want to stick with that. But there's a question that a lot of people ask. What about a Sonic Unleashed Remaster? A lot of people have been talking about wanting a Sonic Unleashed Remaster for current generation consoles alongside PC, or even just porting the game to PC in general. A remaster and re-release would definitely be good. The preferred way to get Sonic Unleashed on the PC is by Sega just releasing a native port of the game to the PC. I'm not sure if I want this though. In 2021, Sega re-released Sonic Colors, the Nintendo Wii exclusive, onto current generation consoles and PC in the form of Sonic Colors Ultimate. And if anyone played Sonic Colors Ultimate, you would know that that port is an absolute mess that is full of glitches, bugs, and issues that never existed in the original game. It ruins the entire art style that the original game has, and is straight up an unstable, broken mess. I wouldn't want Sega to even think about releasing Sonic Unleashed if they are going to release it in the same exact state they released Sonic Colors Ultimate in. Even Ultimate's patched state that it is in now isn't good enough, and this isn't the only re-release they did that sucked. Sega also did Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, which is a remake of Super Monkey Ball 1, 2, and Deluxe that wasn't that good. They also did Sonic Origins Plus. Need I say more about that one? I don't want a Sonic Unleashed remaster. What I would prefer is a Sonic Lost World approach. Just grab the original game, throw it onto Steam, and let it be that. I get it. You'll be pissing off all the console fanboys that want the game on consoles. But do you guys really want another broken remaster? Do you want what happened to Sonic Colors to happen to Sonic Unleashed as well? A remaster that completely shits on the legacy of the original game? Because I can tell you, as soon as Sonic Colors Ultimate released, no one has had nice things to say about Sonic Colors. Not even the original. It's hated by a majority of the internet at that point, mostly due to this broken remaster. Do you want the same to happen to Sonic Unleashed? No, I don't really think so. That's personally why I am against a Sonic Unleashed Ultimate, because it wouldn't be the best version. In fact, it'd probably be worse than the PS3 version, and that would be a problem. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. It was a little ranty at the end, but it's been a while since I've made one of these. Like almost a year at this point. I've had issues with life, but that's another video, and another Sonic video at that. And I'm not gonna ask you to subscribe because my content is shit, but if you did like the video, then I guess you can do that if you want to. I'm not gonna stop you at all. I just wanted to talk about my personal experience on trying to play Sonic Unleashed on the PC. Next video is probably going to be Sonic Freeriders, because why not? Anyways, good night. Bye.